In the middle of the vast blue ocean, there was a place called the Island of Joy. It was a true paradise, covered in lush green forests, wide open fields, and sparkling blue lakes. On the island, people, animals, and children lived together in perfect harmony. It was never too hot or too cold, and the sun always bathed the land in gentle warmth. Anyone who arrived on the Island of Joy felt as though they had come home, because the islanders were known for their kindness and warm hospitality. On this island, every child had a special role. Each child was responsible for taking care of one animal, and these animals weren't just pets, they were the children's best friends. Some had cats that always showed up when someone was feeling sad, others had dogs that were always ready to play, and some even had birds that filled the air with beautiful songs. Among the children was a girl named Tara, who lived with her parents and little brother in a cozy house near the edge of the forest. Tara's animal companion was an unusual one, a rabbit named Whisker. Whisker was a white rabbit with black-tipped ears, fast and mischievous, always finding a way to lead Tara into some kind of adventure. One summer, the Island of Joy was preparing for the biggest festival it had ever seen. The Friendship Festival was a grand celebration that brought people, animals, and nature together. The entire island was decorated with colorful flags, and the smell of fresh-baked pies and fruits filled the air. The children were especially excited, waiting eagerly for games, dances, and performances. The festival was set to last 3 whole days, with the highlight being a huge bonfire on the beach, where everyone would gather to celebrate another year of happiness and unity. But just one day before the festival was about to begin, something strange happened. The sky, which was usually clear and bright, suddenly began to darken. Thick gray clouds rolled in, and the air turned cool and heavy. The island's elders murmured among themselves, for they couldn't remember ever seeing such a sudden change in the weather. The wind began to howl, kicking up sand from the beaches, and the ocean started to churn. "This doesn't look good," Tara's father said, staring out to the horizon. "This isn't just any storm." Tara stood on the beach with her rabbit, Whisker, cradled in her arms. Whisker seemed anxious, as if he sensed that something was wrong. Tara's friends had already run back to their homes, and parents were calling their children inside. Tara was about to follow, but as she reached her front door, she realized that Whisker was no longer in her arms. The little rabbit had jumped down and darted off into the tall grass. Without thinking, Tara ran after him. Meanwhile, the storm was growing stronger by the minute. The wind was so fierce it was snapping tree branches, and rain poured down in heavy sheets. The islanders rushed to secure their homes and take shelter, as waves crashed violently against the shore, sending sprays of water high into the air. It seemed like the island might be torn apart. Parents were gathering their children, and animals were being brought indoors, but no one noticed that Tara was missing. Deep in the forest, Tara was running through the thick mist and wet leaves, calling out for her rabbit. Her heart was pounding with fear, but she couldn't leave without Whisker. The rabbit was her best friend, her companion in all of her adventures, and she knew she had to find him. The wind roared through the trees, bending the branches with its force. Tara paused to catch her breath, and that's when she saw him. Whisker was running toward a large oak tree on top of a hill. She watched as he disappeared into a hollow at the base of the tree and sprinted toward him. But just as she reached the tree, a loud crack of thunder shook the ground, and a massive branch came crashing down in front of her, blocking her path. Tara was trapped. The forest around her was dark and eerie, and for the first time, she felt truly afraid. She wondered if anyone would find her. But then, suddenly, she heard the flutter of wings above her. It was a large seagull, one of the many that often circled the island. It began to circle around her as if trying to tell her something. Soon, more animals appeared, a young deer, 2 foxes, and even squirrels hopping from branch to branch. It was as if all the animals on the island knew Tara was in trouble and had come to help. While the animals kept Tara safe from the wind and rain, the seagulls flew back to the village. One of them landed in front of Tara's parents, who realized the bird was leading them to their daughter. The whole village joined the search, following the birds as they soared over the forest. After a long and dangerous trek, they finally spotted Tara, sitting beneath the large oak tree, holding Whisker tightly in her arms. The animals were all gathered around her, as if they were guarding her. When her parents saw her, they ran to her, tears of joy streaming down their faces. As the storm began to ease and the clouds started to part, the sun broke through, casting a warm glow over the island once again. The villagers slowly emerged from their homes, checking the damage, but to their amazement, the island hadn't suffered much. It was as if a magic had protected their little haven. From that day on, Tara and Whisker became symbols of the bond between the people and the animals of the island. The Friendship Festival, which everyone thought would be cancelled because of the storm, went on with even greater joy. And every year after that, the people of the Island of Joy celebrated not just their friendships, but the strength of love that had kept them united, even through the toughest of storms. The Island of Joy remained a place where storms would come and go, but love and friendship would always stay.